Guys, we got a Honda Pilot. We're gonna do the rear brake pads and rotors. Rusty, crusty, warped water, the car shakes. We did the front. Check that video out. So we got some tools here. We got a 12 millimeter and we got a 17 millimeter with a 3 drive ratchet, punch, brake cleaner, greasing. Got video on this greasing and this silicone based grease. We got a compressed tool and a hammer. We got brake pads that we use on the opposite side. These are Evolutions. Okay. Comes with all the hardware in here. Let's put this baby to the side. We got a disc here that I unwrapped. It's gonna have this little strip in the bag. But this is electric coated rotors. These are beautiful rotors. So there's a part number. Right and left is the same. And comes in a blue box. I love this stuff. Anyways, we're gonna start this job off by removing everything, cleaning and prepping everything. And we're also gonna clean this rotor here. So let me just do it now. That way it can dry up. You don't have to do it immediately, but this is the rag I was using. So make sure you clean this very well because it got oil on it. You don't have to clean this area, that's fine. So make sure there's nothing on it. In the back end, you're gonna have to clean this because this side rides on the e-brake and this surface here. So let's clean this and this inside here. Perfect. Take your rag, wipe it down. Okay, I want to do a video on how to properly clean the rotors because the best way to clean rotor is soapy water and hot water. There you go, that's ready. So we're gonna let this baby sit here for a while. Let's get on to the vehicle. We got the 2 bolts in the back end. They're 12 millimeters. If you look from the back, counterclockwise. 1 and 2. Once you have both of these removed, you should be able to take them both off. Come to the side. Take your caliper. And check out this. Brake pads are brand new because they just smacked it onto the rotors. Comes with the little pins. Comes to the side. Now we're gonna go to the back. There's 2 more bolts back here, right here. They're 17 millimeters. I'm gonna show you as soon as I get them off. And same thing. Counterclockwise. If I'm able to do it from back here. There you go. That's one. Let me reach into the second one. Okay. They're loose. I'll show you guys what I just loosened up. So you got one here and one here. Okay, these are the 2. 1, 2. Those are the 2 bolts, okay? That's gonna come out. So all I gotta do is continue taking off these 2 bolts. And the other one, all of it on there. I'm gonna have to go from the bottom a little bit here. There you go. And this guy still don't want to come out. Okay, now it's loose. There's one. Let me see if I can manage to get the second one. Oop. I'm gonna have to continue this baby with my ratchet here. There you go. Should be loose enough for me to wiggle woggle and turn at the same time. There you go, it's coming out. There you go, it's 2, and the bracket comes off. We're gonna take off this, and we're gonna take off that. The slider pins, we're gonna take them off later on and then lubricate them. But right now, as we go along, we're gonna just clean the surface right where our hardware is gonna sit. Nice and clean. There you go. Okay. You gotta remove the screw. The screw might not just come off. Okay, if the screw doesn't come off, you wanna bang in the back with the hammer. You don't need no punch, just a Phillips head screwdriver, but this was loose already. There you go. There's a small letter bushing here, so make sure you save that letter guy, because we're gonna reuse that. So I'll get that off. To get that off, all you need to do is push from the back end. Just be careful before you don't stab yourself like I'm doing. There you go, it comes right off. Okay, that's what this baby look like. Let's see this guy. So next step here is back with the wire brush. Okay, there you go. Clean this well, and you shouldn't have issue with making that rotor sit flush. So once that's clean, let's see if my camera's recording. I'm in a different position. There you go. Let's leave it like that. We're gonna clean this up, okay? Clean the e-brakes up. No need to adjust the e-brake because the new rotor is gonna be a little bit tighter. Only I would leave it alone and clean this up. Clean this up. So this thing gonna quickly dry off. Okay, we're gonna take some silicone-based grease. Let me reach in there, and we're gonna put it on this hub. Always a good idea. If you got some compressed air, just blow on it so you can dry up faster and throw all the dust and everything away. So this is perfect right here. You don't want to put too much grease either. That looks good to me. I'm gonna leave it alone. Now we cleaned up the rotor. Remember, we're gonna bring that rotor up, and we're gonna align this oval hole with the hole there. This guy should slip right on. We should be able to take this little screw, catch the threads, and shebang. Just simply nice and easily tighten up. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna take the other dark colored grease right here. This is what we're using now. We're gonna take a little bit and lube up the bracket right where the hardware is gonna sit. Just not too much, just enough so it's not metal to metal, you know. You don't want to put too much either. If you put too much, what's gonna happen is when you put that retainers on, it's gonna squeeze and squash out of there. So when I got hardware here, so here's your hardware. This is the two pieces. And they're always gonna be stuck like that, dangled together. So what you want to do is you want to take one and make sure they sit right in the center, both sides, before you squeeze it in. There you go. And this should go right in. Bada bing, bada boom. Same thing on the opposite side. Make sure you line it first, both sides are equaled up, and you squeeze it right in. Shebang. There you go. Perfect. So what I like to do here is tap, 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 tap. Okay. Now, we're going to take the 217 millimeters. We're going to put them back on, okay? Try to get them by hand first. And there you go. That's perfect right there. So far, looking good. So now I need to get my tool, 17 millimeter, and I'm gonna make them tight as possible. If you got torque specs, I would torque it. It's all up to you. Don't have torque specs here, but if you can get them too nice and tight, you should be good to go. Shebang. Okay, there you go. It's not perfectly tight yet because I want to get the bottom one equally, so it's just snugged in. So let me get the bottom one. There you go. I'm gonna lock it up real nice and tight. There you go. Bang. And we get the second one in. There you go. Perfect. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our brake pads. In the package, you got 4 brake pads, and you're gonna have 2 of these. So what I want to do here is, I want to put this in the bottom here. Okay, so once it's in the bottom, yep, as the rotor backs up, it will make that squeaking sound. So it's gonna go into this little piece housing here. So each pad has it, so depending on where you want it. So on this side, I will put it in the bottom here. You can't put it this way, okay, because it's gonna come and hit the rotor immediately. So you just want to get it right here, nice and squeezed in, so it doesn't come out, it doesn't fall out. And what we're gonna do is a little bit of greasing here, here, here. This customer doesn't want me to put any greasing on the edges. That's fine. It's all up to the customer's car, you know. So your brake pads should go in nicely and easily, just like that. They should be able to move around like that. If they don't, you need to file them a bit, okay? You have to. I got videos out there where I show all that. So same thing in the back end. The brake pad should freely move. So what I want to do is I want to pull this guy out. Again, we're going to talk about this little guy right here, okay? You see this little bushing? It's in the bottom, okay? This is the first time I'm taking it off over here. It's in the bottom because the first point that's going to go into the rotor is this caliper is based on the back of the rotor. So as it turns clockwise, this is the driver's side. This is the first piece that's going to go into the pad. So this has got to be open. That's how I see this prevents vibration. Plus it gives it like a air pressure to it. So that's how that works. So what I want to do here is I want to put a little bit of lube on this. Silicone based grease. Nothing crazy. And push this baby right back in. Make sure your boot grabs on, because if it doesn't, water and moisture will get in. And I'm going to do the same thing to the top one here. And clean this baby up. So if you do this every brake job, I would recommend you do this in between, you know. I used to do that on my Hondas. Every about 10 to 15,000 miles. Even Tesla recommends it, even though the brake pads are not even being used because it's electric motor that provides the brake. But the brake pads are being used as well. But they recommend it at 15,000 miles you do that. Anyways, that's done. Our next job here is make sure your caliper is nice and clean. Gotta get a compressed tool. I showed you guys. C-clamp will work here. If you put a brake pad, it's fine. But if you got a tool like this, you don't need a C-clamp. You simply go in just like that. This guy sits there perfect. Let's see if it's recording, if it's capturing that angle. There you go. And we should be able to compress this piston. Okay. So we're pretty much done here, okay, guys? So what you want to do here next is you're going to grab your retainers, put them in. Good practice to put some greasing there, but the customer doesn't want it. He said he had bad experience before, too much. He's experimenting something. I don't know what he's thinking about, but this baby's ready to go on. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our caliper, put that baby on, and all you need to do here is, the camera's kind of low on battery there, so you take your 14 millimeter and I'm sorry, 12 millimeter and a 12 millimeter, lock them both up and make sure they're nice and tight. Use your 12 millimeter wrench here. So I'm gonna end the video here before my camera dies, so make sure you lock both of these up nice and tight. And make sure this thing is sitting properly, okay? Because if it sits on the edge here, it's not gonna lock up the bolt, okay? And make sure your brake line is nice and good. So I'm gonna do them both. Thank you for watching my video. And make sure you pump the brake pedal before you start the car. It will be soft and it will get hard, then you're good to go. If you don't do that, your car is not gonna stop. And you're gonna have an accident immediately. Probably gonna drive out of that driveway, hitting the wall. So make sure you put this little guy right here. Okay, there you go. Don't push it too hard, it'll go right through. Anyway, guys, still gotta tighten 2 bolts. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. See you guys on the next one.